Hello everyone, I Kuldeep Sharma welcome you all to today's session of Daily News Analysis, where we are going to look at the most important news headlines from the Hindu newspaper as well as the Indian Express. But before I begin with today's news, let's look at the comment box. So the first comment is from Ramjas, and he has answered the question which I asked you all of you in my previous class, which was regarding that in the Chabar port there are basically two terminals. What are the name of those two terminals? And you were supposed to also let me know that which particular terminal is being operationalized by India. So Ramjas ने सही आंसर दिया, चाबार पोर्ट में दो हैं, शहीद बहस्ती टर्मिनल एंड शहीद कलंतरी टर्मिनल. और जो ये शहीद बहस्ती टर्मिनल है, इट इज द टर्मिनल विच इज बीइंग ऑपरेशनलाइज्ड बाय इंडिया. ओके, next comment is from Read with Mahi. So she has given us a suggestion, sir, add Israel-Palestine war in MIT. So yes, Israel-Palestine war would be part of a particular class, a full class on Middle East. There we are going to cover all of this. Okay. Now next is from Pranav Singh Rajabas. Shama Prasad Mukherjee is the new name of Kolkata port. Exactly correct. Shahid Kalantari and Shahid Behesti will be operated by India. Correct, again correct. And Bombay Stock Exchange was also formed in 1875. Okay. So the question which I asked you was which particular organization was formed in the year 1885. And in 1885 it was the Indian National Congress. Okay. So please, you are also correct, but I asked you about 1885. Okay. Ria Jat 4607, Shama Prasad Mukherjee port, yes correct. Shahid Behesti and Shahid Kalantari and Shahid Behesti is the port operationalized by India. So all of you are giving the correct answers only. More comments. Ramjas, what is a race to resilience? So I've discussed this also. Race to resilience is currently BSP and NPP are national party. So let's take these two issues first. So first is, what exactly is this race to resilience? So it's simply a worldwide initiative. It's an international initiative, and it's an initiative by non-governmental organization where basically your non-state actors, investors, business, city, regions and civil societies, all of them can become part to race to resilience. And what is the basic goal of this particular race to resilience? It is basically to do capacity building. Capacity building is the main goal of this particular. And what is the meaning of capacity building? That basically all of these players would help the people as well as the cities and towns and villages etc., which are vulnerable to climate change impacts or effects. They are going to have better capacity to fight those climate change, to be adaptable to those climate change. That is the meaning of race to resilience. Resilient hona matlab you are able to survive in many harsh situations also. That is the meaning of resilience only. So that's why the name race to resilience. And basically all of these people, all of these non-state actors are going to help the cities, towns and people in general, majorly belonging to the least developed countries or the developing countries which are facing the impact of climate change. Okay, so that is the main objective. So this particular race to resilience was established in 2020, and India also joined it last year only. So in December last year we had this Conference of Parties 28, which are basically conferences to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So we are going to discuss it in detail in some other time, because these COPs are also very important. Also, one smart thing which you can do is you can focus on all of these COPs, the important ones. Reason being that these meetings of COPs take place during November, and your exam is held in the December only, and it is very much possible that because they happen in November, a lot of coverage of these COP happens in the newspaper. So what you can do is you can preempt this particular thing and you can prepare for the important COPs which have happened till now. Okay, so whatever important COPs are there, for example, one important is your COP 21. This one is an important. Another one was your COP 26. So these are two more important. Another was COP3, your Kyoto. So one is your Paris, your COP21 is exactly of 2015, which was in Paris. COP26 took place in Glasgow. That's also is important. And COP3 was your Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto wala. Okay, so these are some important COPs. You can search about them, you can read about them more, and this will help you to prepare this particular topic in advance. Okay, so India has also joined this race to resilience. Second question which Ramjas asked was, is currently BSP and NPP are national party? So yes, these are your national parties. So if I tell you that your Election Commission of India recognizes certain political parties as national registered political parties and your state registered political parties, and there are certain criteria to be declared as national state, and they have certain benefits. For example, they can nominate 40 star campaigners, they get free electoral rolls from the Election Commission, they get free airtime on the All India Radio and their Doordarshan channels also. So these are some of the benefits, and as of now we have six recognized national political parties, and the list is very easy to remember. One is your Congress, the oldest political party in India as of now. Second is your BJP, the ruling party right now. Third is your CPI-M. M stands for Marxist, not Maoist. Maoist is a banned organization. Maoist is a banned organization, but CPI-M, Marxist, is a recognized national political party. Apart from it, your BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party, is another national party. Apart from it, you have this NPP, National Political Party, which is a party of Meghalaya, and the current president is Conrad Sangma. Okay, so it's a political party from Meghalaya, and it is active in other northeastern states also. And earlier it was part of National Congress Party, which is the party of Sharad Pawar from Maharashtra. But now they have formed a different party. And finally, the latest and the sixth one is your Aam Aadmi Party, which became a national political party only in the year 2023. Moreover, another thing which you should understand about this particular status of these national political parties, that earlier before 2016, Election Commission of India used to decide the status as a national political party. Basically, you have to fulfill the certain criteria, then only you would be a national political party. So what Election Commission of India used to do, after every election, there was a review. After every election, there was a review of the status after every election. But since 2016, now after every two elections, for example, let's say there is a particular political party which in the just concluded Lok Sabha polls, in the just concluded 2024, let's say now it is not able to, let's take example, let's say AAP, which was a national political party. Let's say from 2024, because of the 2024 election, it was not able to fulfill the criteria of national political party. So it would not be declared a non-national political party from 2024 onwards, but it would only be done if also in the next election, it does not fulfill the criteria. So we are not reviewing the status of a national political party just after one election, but we are waiting for 2 election cycles to get completed. So only after second election 2029, there would be a review of the status of a particular party as a national political party, as a state political party. So this is a new update regarding this. Okay, so moving on to the next. So Manish sir, can there be a video on important national parks, wildlife sanctuary and biosphere reserves? So yes, there can be a video. If you want, we will create a video. Others also can suggest us if they want a particular video on national park, wildlife sanctuary, biosphere reserve. Why we are not in the mood of creating such a videos? Because it look like that they might be important, but unless it is somewhat much in news, they do not have such importance for our CLAT examination and for AILET examination. So what you can do is you can just focus on those national park, those wildlife sanctuaries or your biosphere reserve which are currently in news, rather than going through the list of all of them. So you can just focus on those which are in news right now. And what extra you can do is you can do the basic of all of these. For example, if I ask you right now, or I'll also answer it, which organization or which particular government is responsible for declaration of a particular wildlife sanctuary or a particular wildlife area as a national park? Which particular government, the central government or the state government, which particular government categorizes a particular wildlife area as a national park? Which particular government, center or state, or let's say a local government can it do it? Panchayat can do it kya? The wildlife sanctuary as a wildlife area as a wildlife sanctuary. And what about biosphere reserves? Okay, so I'm going to answer it because I don't want students to get confused in this particular answer. So both of your national park and wildlife sanctuaries are notified not by the central government, although the word national is used here, but both are notified by the state government only. So remember this particular point. The wildlife areas are notified as wildlife sanctuaries or national park by your state government and not by your central government. And next is your biosphere reserves. So India also has biosphere reserves also, but this particular declaration of a particular area as a biosphere reserve is done by UNESCO, not by the central or state government. So biosphere reserves are declared by UNESCO and not by your center or state government. Okay, let's go through the next comment. Pranav, again sir, please also discuss NIRF ranking. So in the next slide we are going to discuss that only in detail. Also, there is confusion regarding the head of National Security Council. So yes, at certain places, if you will do Google search, you will find out that certain places Prime Minister is mentioned as the head, and at certain places your National Security Advisor has been mentioned as the head of this National Security Council. And I did some research. I went through the authentic websites of the government, and there I found a particular note where the National Security Advisor has been mentioned as the head of the National Security Council. Okay, so that is also clear, but I'm also going to show the note also in the next slide. Okay, next, Pranav sir, please also tell what is the difference between an economy and GDP. And Ramjas has replied to him, GDP is calculation of final goods and services produced in an economy, and economy is a bigger term consisting of other terms also. So exactly correct, Ramjas. So Pranav, he has given you a correct explanation. GDP is basically what is the total production of goods and services in a particular financial in an economy. An economy as a whole is basically, for example, India is an economy. So whatever is happening inside India is, I can call it as an economy. And GDP is the measurement of growth of an economy. Okay, it's a measurement of growth of an economy. So that is the basic difference. Okay, so now let's look at the particular note which I found. So here it has been mentioned. So it's a note of Cabinet Secretariat only, and it's a note from 2002. So your National Security Council was created only after 1998 by Atal Bihari Vajpayee government and under his office only. So this National Security Council is responsible for advising the Prime Minister office on national security issue. And before, when it was basically created, your principal secretary to the Prime Minister, there was a principal secretary to the Prime Minister, he used to head this particular National Security Council, and now this principal secretary only became the National Security Advisor later on. So this particular post was this particular National Security Advisor, this particular post was also shared by your principal secretary, but now we have a different principal secretary for the Prime Minister and we have a separate National Security Advisor. So because of this particular thing, I can conclude that as of now it is the National Security Advisor who is the chief of National Security Council. Okay, moreover, so one question which you have to answer now is, who is the current National Security Advisor of India? Who is the current NSA of India? And one more thing you have to do, who was the first National Security Advisor of India? So you have to answer two things in the comment box. First is, who is the current National Security Advisor, and who was the first National Security Advisor of India? Okay, so try to do some research and answer it in the comment box. Moving on, regarding the NIRF ranking. So because it was recently in news only, so this year's 2024 rankings came only in the month of August only. So let's go through these. So NIRF are basically introduced in the year 2015. So they were introduced in 2015, and it is done by Ministry of Education. So earlier it was known as Ministry of Human Resource Development, but now it is known as Ministry of Education. So Ministry of Education initiated this NIRF ranking in 2015 to bring a healthy competition among the different institutions in different categories also. Okay, so some important facts which are important for us. There can be many important things in this particular NIRF, but I have shorted down. I've reduced the important points on this particular side. So the most important question which can come from NIRF is, which particular institution has topped the overall ranking? So there are department-wise ranking, there are subject-wise rankings of different colleges and universities, and there is an overall ranking also. And it's very easy to remember. IIT Madras is the answer because it has been achieving the top position in the overall category for last 6 years, and also it has been the top university for 9 consecutive years in the engineering category. Okay, so that's why this IIT Madras is the most important. Let's look at the second one. Second is your another important institution in the category of science, which is Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, which is topping the universities ranking. So I have now, it's not an overall category, universities are different, colleges are different, and other kind of universities are also given. So among the universities, ISC Bangalore is the top ranked category, as well as it's the top ranked category. It is a top ranked institution in the research institution category also. Next is your IIM Ahmedabad, the most premier Indian Institute of Management of India, which is IIM Ahmedabad, which is the top position in the management category again for the fifth consecutive years. And in the medical, it's very easy to remember, AIIMS New Delhi. So जो यूजुअल आपको लगते हैं कि होने चाहिए टॉपर्स, वो ही आपके टॉपर्स हैं. सो नेक्स्ट इज योर एम्स न्यू दिल्ली, विच इज द लीडिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन इन द मेडिकल कैटेगरी फॉर द लास्ट 7 years. एंड देयर इज अ चेंज इन द कॉलेज रैंकिंग्स, एंड दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटीज हिंदू कॉलेज has achieved the top position for the first time, surpassing Mirinda House, which was holding this particular position in terms of colleges for the last 7 years. So Hindu College has become the topmost college for the first time in the NIRF ranking. Okay. What else? So there have been certain addition in this particular NIRF rankings. So one is there has been addition of 3 new categories. So a total of 16 categories are there now. So there are 16 categories, and in the State Public University, Anna University is the topper. Indira Gandhi IGNOU is the topper in the Open University, and your Symbiosis Skill and Professional University is the top university in the Skill University. Again, my advice would be, do not remember all of these institutions, but you just remember the previous slides institution. Moreover, you should know that how many categories are there. So there are now 16 categories of universities and colleges which are ranked. So and again on the right side of this particular slide, you can see the criteria or indicators which are used by NRF to basically rank this university. So some weightage, 0.3 weightage, 0.3% weightage is provided to teaching, learning and resources. 0.3 weightage is provided to research and professional practice. 0.2 weightage is provided to graduation outcome. 0.1 percentage is provided to outreach and inclusivity, and 0.1 is provided to perception. Okay, so there are five particular indicators which are basically used: teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcome, outreach and inclusivity, and fifth is your perception. Okay, so this is the advancement, this is the new additions in the latest NIRF rankings. Okay, now let's move on. So let's look at the important news for today. So on the first page of the Hindu newspaper, front page of the newspaper, there is a news regarding that 9 Maoists, including 6 women, have been killed in Dantewada operation. So Dantewada is a place in your Chhattisgarh where the Maoists are very active right now. But remember this, that Chhattisgarh is not the state which is the most prone to your Naxalism. So first you have to understand what exactly is your Naxalism. So Naxalism is another name for another kind of ism, which is your ideology. Ism basically means wherever you would see a suffix of ism, just think it's an ideology. So Naxalism is Indian version of Maoism only. So Maoism originated in China, which is a Chinese version of Marxism. And all of these talk about what? Basically that there should be the rule of the middle class, or the rule of the proletariat, or the people who are the laborers over the ruling class. Okay, so they should be the rule. So Chinese version is Maoism and your Indian version is Naxalism. And what is the basic crux of this particular philosophy? That majorly your rich people and your government is a tool of the rich people to exploit the poor people, and only by using armed insurgency and mass mobilization we can replace this current system. So if we want to replace the current government system which is exploiting the poor, which is helping the rich to exploit the poor, if we want to replace this particular system, the only solution is to do an armed insurgency or mass mobilization. And its Indian version is Naxalism. So where did this name came from? So this Naxalism name came from the village of Naxalbari, which is a village in West Bengal. So there was a anti-landlord, anti-money lender movement in 1967 in the Naxalbari, West Bengal. And there were these 3 people, Charu Majumdar, Kanu Sanyal and Jangal Santhal, which were influenced by this Maoist ideology, and they started this particular movement. Later on, it was called as Naxalism only. So next term which you should understand is what exactly is Red Corridor. So red corridor is that particular area of India. So earlier it was a very large area, about all of the state, all of your central India, eastern India, some parts of your western India and your south of India was actually in the influence of this Maoist insurgency. But now since 2000, so your Naxalism was at peak. So the peak year was 2010. The peak year was 2010. The maximum number of violence because of this Naxalism insurgency or Maoist insurgency took place in the year 2010. But since 2010, your government has been very active. The government has taken many security as well as developmental measure. Because of this, Maoist insurgency has come down. But still, it is present in certain areas, and I have added this particular map to make you understand which are the particular areas where you can still see Maoist insurgency in 2024. And if I talk about the red corridor, it basically denotes that particular area where you can find Maoist insurgency. So first important point is which particular state is the most affected state because of insurgency, Maoist insurgency. So it is the state of Jharkhand. Okay, so Jharkhand has the most number of districts impacted by your Maoism or Naxalism. The second number is taken by Chhattisgarh, then your Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh and Kerala. But in these particular regions, so in these particular region, it is now very less. It has been controlled to a very large extent. So majorly in the forested areas of Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. So in Chhattisgarh, there is a Dand Karanya forest. This is the this is the area which is most impacted or most affected by the Maoist insurgency. Okay, so just remember Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, MP, Kerala are the red corridor. So I know it's very hard to remember this, but what you can do is you can look at this particular map, and by looking at these areas, you can identify which particular areas are there. So you only need to have a particular idea that which are the states which are impacted by your red corridor. Okay, so this is regarding this particular news. So let's move to the next one. Bengal passes bill that moots death for rape. So I hope you are following this particular news, RG Kar hospital, and you must be observing this phenomena also, that as we as human beings have such a short memory that such a severe kind of action, such a severe kind of crime took place in the state of West Bengal, in our own country, and we have started to forget that particular thing, and now we have moved on in our life. So here also you can see that that particular issue has not died down, at least in the state of Kolkata, and doctors are still protesting on the street, and they are still continuing with their protests in different parts of India also, and they are demanding very strict laws for such kind of crimes, as well as they are demanding certain security, certain safety measures which should be, there should be a law to provide safety to the doctors. Okay, so they are still going on, but here there is a lesson for mankind that we have a very short-term memory, and we usually forget even such kind of heinous crime. Okay, so what is the present news is, so basically your West Bengal Legislative Assembly has passed a particular law which is going to provide, which is going to amend your Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So one lesson you can learn from here is that even in central laws, for example your Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and your Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, all of these can also be amended by the state governments. So there can be a state level amendments. And what has happened in this particular case, your provision relating to sexual offenses in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has been amended by the state of West Bengal for the purpose of state of West Bengal. And now what they have done is, so for example, for the purpose of rape, for the crime of rape, which is now covered in articles in clause 64. Now sections are called as clause in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. In clause 64, the punishment is 10 years rigorous imprisonment that may extend to life and fine. But now the proposal under this particular law is, West Bengal law is rigorous imprisonment for life or death. Same is the case for other thing also. For example, in rape that causes death or permanent vegetative status, earlier there was the provision of 20 years rigorous imprisonment that may extend to life or death, and now the proposal is to only provide for death penalty. There is no provision for life imprisonment or for a continued rigorous imprisonment, so only death has been provided. So these are some changes which have been proposed by the West Bengal government. So now the West Bengal Legislative Assembly has already passed this particular bill. Now it is going to go to the governor, and the governor give assent to this bill. Now this would be the new punishment for these kind of crimes in the state of West Bengal only. Okay, so remember that this is an update regarding it. So let's move to the next news. So recently a report has come up by World Bank, and the name of the report is India Development Update. So a basic one-liner can be, which of the following organization publishes the India Development Update, or the full name also India's Trade Opportunities in a Changing Global Context. And you should know this, that this is a report published by World Bank. And what are the main findings of this particular report? So this particular report has forecasted a growth rate of 7% for 24-25. Again, for your benefit, I'm telling you, you don't have to remember these particular forecasts because they keep changing quarterly. So you don't have to remember all of these, but you should know which particular organization publishes this particular report. Okay. Moreover, what else is reported? So it reports that export connected jobs have declined in India. And it's not a good news for India, because recently there has been a trend in the world that people or the companies, Western companies, wanted to move out for China and they were looking for alternative market. But India has not been able to capture this particular opportunity, and other countries like your Bangladesh, Vietnam, and your basically your Southeast Asian country like Indonesia, your Philippines, they have captured this particular opportunity. And because of this, jobs which are related to export have been declining in India. Moreover, good news for India was that at least in the last year, India was the fastest growing major economy in the world for the financial 22-23, and last year it was, our growth rate was 8.2% by them. Again, you don't have to remember this particular growth rate, but you should know the official annual growth rate. Annual growth rate of India as per annual growth rate of India as per the Indian government. इंडियन गवर्नमेंट के हिसाब से आपकी एनुअल ग्रोथ रेट क्या थी? सो इट वाज 7%. सो फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 23-24, फॉर फाइनेंशियल 23-24, और फॉर द ईयर ऑफ 2023. So in the year of 2023, our average GDP growth rate or our growth rate was 7%. So you should know just this particular value. Okay. So only this much is from this particular news. Let's look at the next news from the Hindu newspaper. Again, declared as non-citizens by Foreigners Tribunal, 28 in Assam sent to transit camp. So I hope you are aware that your Citizenship Amendment Act was again in news this year, because your Ministry of Home Affairs has come up with the rules of this particular thing. And what the Citizenship Amendment Act provides for? It basically provides that your non-Muslim persecuted minorities from 3 states of Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan would get easier access to citizenship in India. And in Assam, illegal immigration from Bangladesh was a big issue, is a big issue, and might remain a big issue in future also. So to tackle that particular problem, since 1946 we have been creating these foreign tribunals. And what is the job of these foreign tribunals? So these are created by the state governments. And even district magistrate in a particular district can create these foreign tribunals, and their main job is to find out a person's status as either citizen of India or declare them as foreigner or illegal immigrant. So if there is any doubt regarding a person's status as citizen of India or not, then this foreign tribunal is going to listen to that particular case. So it is the main tribunal which listens to the cases of citizenship issues. Okay. And if the person fails to prove his citizenship status, then he can be sent to a detention center. Now they are called as transit camp, because finally they have to be deported to their country of origin. For example, let's say there is some illegal immigrant who had actually come from Bangladesh and he has entered, illegally he entered into India, or whether he legally entered into India but he has expired his visa. Visa is basically the permission to stay in a country for a particular time period, and now he has crossed that particular time period. So in this case, he would be called as a foreigner or an illegal immigrant. So what this foreign tribunal can do is, this foreign tribunal can send this particular person to a detention center. Now those are not known as detention center. Now they are known as transit camp, because now they would be transferred to their country of origin. Basically, they would be deported back. From which is the law under which these particular foreign tribunals are created? So these are created under Foreign Tribunal Order of 1964 under Section 3 of Foreign Tribunals Act of Foreigners Act of 1946. Okay. Now, which particular ministry handles the cases of foreign tribunal? So they come under the administrative control of Ministry of Home Affairs. And Ministry of Home Affairs has also empowered district magistrate in the year 2019 to create such tribunals in all states and UT. So although as of now there is only one particular state which has these foreign tribunals, and that is the state of Assam. So as of now only Assam has foreign tribunals, but as per the 2019 amendment to this foreign tribunals order, all the district magistrate in any state or UT of India can create these foreign tribunals. Now, very importantly, who has the burden of proof to prove that you are citizen of India or not? So this particular burden of proof is on the person who has been suspected to be a foreigner or illegal immigrant. And let's say whatever order has been given by foreign tribunal, where can you appeal? So these foreign tribunals appeal goes to the High Court directly, and if you are not satisfied with High Court decision, you can move the Supreme Court also. So this is the brief about your foreign tribunals in India. Let's move to the next news. So next news is Jaipur's UNESCO heritage status to be boosted with rupees 100 crore expenditure. So your state of Rajasthan has decided that your World Heritage site, your Jaipur, your walled city of Jaipur is a World Heritage site, and your government, your Rajasthan government is going to spend around 100 crore on this particular site. So what is this UNESCO World Heritage site? So basically it's a status given to cities or to different monuments by UNESCO, and there are more than 1200 such sites in the world, and India also has a lot of them. So in India you can find around 43 World Heritage sites. Now these 43 World Heritage sites can be categorized as cultural, your natural, and your mixed. Mixed is basically where there is a component of both natural and your cultural sites. So in India there are 35 cultural sites, 7 natural sites, and there is a 1 mixed cultural site. So so in the comment box you can answer it, which is the one mixed World Heritage site of India. Which is the one mixed World Heritage site of India. So there are a total of 43 World Heritage sites in India. Which was the first World Heritage site of India? So there was not just one, but 4 sites in India were declared as World Heritage site. But if you have to answer one of these, then you can mark Ajanta Caves as the first one. Okay, but otherwise Ajanta Caves, Ellora Caves, Agra Fort, and Taj Mahal, all 4 together were declared as World Heritage site, but the first one to be declared was Ajanta Caves. Okay, now recently very important thing happened. The 46th session of the World Heritage Committee, which is the decision making body. So this particular committee is the decision making body to declare different sites in a country as World Heritage site, and this particular 46th session took place in New Delhi only, and this was the first session in India. And we declared the 43rd World Heritage site in this particular session only. And this particular site was Charyadev Moidams, which is basically a burial system. Burial system basically where you put up persons, or where you put dead person inside the land. Okay, so 700-old mound burial system of the Ahom dynasty from Assam. So this was the most powerful dynasty, ruling dynasty of Assam, and your Assam gets its name from Ahom dynasty only. So Assam name comes from Ahom dynasty only, and this particular World Heritage site Charyadev Moidams has been the 43rd, has been declared the 43rd World Heritage site. Moreover, regarding walled city of Jaipur, so it is a World Heritage site since 2019. So it was very recently that this walled city of Jaipur was declared as a World Heritage site, and with this particular recognition, your city of Jaipur became the second city after city of Ahmedabad to be declared as a World Heritage site of India. Okay. Moving on to the next news, Netflix to add real names of terrorists in IC 814 web series. So there is a new web series on Netflix. It is getting a lot of traction. It is getting very popular, which is basically dealing with the hijacking of this particular aircraft, which is known as IC 814, which is also, this incident is also known as Kandahar hijack incident also. So these are some important factuals regarding this particular hijacking, because if you will go through the previous year question paper, sometimes these kind of question can also be asked. So I would say if you have gone through these details only once or twice also, they are very easy to remember, and you are getting some easy marks in the exams if such kind of question comes up. So what are the basics which you can remember about this particular incident? So one thing which you should know is what is the name of that particular flight. So yes, it was IC 814, but it was a flight of Indian Airlines. So it's not Air India. Indian Airlines was a different your airline company of India. So this was Indian Airline flight 814. So that was the number IC 814, and this particular incident is also known as Kandahar hijack incident. Okay. So this particular flight was basically hijacked by militants of Harkat-ul-Mujahideen, which is a terrorist organization. And this particular flight was traveling from Kathmandu to Delhi. What was the plane? So the plane was Airbus A300. So Airbus is a European company which produces your airplanes. So the plane which was using this particular, which was being used was Airbus A300. And what was the name of the pilot? So the pilot name was Captain Devi Sharan, and it is his book only on which this particular Netflix documentary has been drafted. Next, so what was the route taken by hijackers? So this particular flight originated from Kathmandu. The pilot was forced to divert it to Lucknow and then head to Lahore. So he was asked to move to Lahore, but here the pilot or the captain was of the view that there is insufficient fuel, and he told the hijackers that he has to land in Amritsar for refueling. But because of some miscommunication, the flight was allowed to take off from Amritsar without refueling also. But finally, this particular aircraft, first it went to the Lahore. It was earlier not allowed to land at Lahore Air Base, but later on it was allowed. Here it was refueled, and then these people took it to Kandahar in Afghanistan. So remember, this was the year of 99, and in the year 99, your Prime Minister was Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And in Afghanistan, it was the rule of Taliban regime. So Taliban government was ruling Afghanistan, and again, now also the Taliban is ruling Afghanistan again. And at that time, your Indian government did not recognize Taliban as a legitimate government. So there was some problem how we are going to negotiate with Taliban, because we do not recognize them as the legitimate government, but still we negotiated it. Now India sent a team for negotiation headed by Vivek Karju, which was your Indian Foreign Service officer. So the team of negotiator was headed by your Indian Foreign Service officer Vivek Karju. Moreover, what was the demand of terrorists? So demand were asking for some amount of cash. So this demand was rejected, and it was the Taliban which asked them to don't have this particular demand. And the second demand, the more important demand, was release of 3 militants which were held captive in Indian jails. And these 3 persons, Maulana Masood Azhar, Mustaq Ahmad Zargar, and your Ahmad Omar Shayyad Sheikh or Omar Shayyad Sheikh. So these 3 were asked to be released by the terrorists. And because the negotiation did not turn up in our favor, we had to release these 3 people. And we had to pay a very heavy price also because of this. Because your Maulana Masood Azhar went on to found the Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist organization in 2000, and this particular organization was responsible for carrying on the 2001 attack on the Indian Parliament. So on your Indian Parliament also there was an attack in 2001, and in response, your Indian government, your Indian armed forces launched a particular operation. Does anyone know the name of that particular operation? So that name was Operation Parakram. So Operation Parakram was launched in response to the 2001 Parliament attack. So finally, these three militants were sent to Kandahar on a plane with our External Affairs Minister Jaswant Singh. So these are some person which you can remember. There was one dead person. So there were a total of 179 hostages in that particular plane, and one particular Indian passenger was killed by these hijackers, and that was Rupan Katyal, a 24-year-old person. Okay, and finally the hostages were released after the terrorist demand were met in this particular case. So what you can do is you can just remember these factual data, these important personalities. For example, this Maulana Masood Azhar, JEM, your Jaish-e-Mohammed, and your 2001 Parliament attack and the response Operation Parakram. This becomes important details. So if a question comes up regarding this IC 814, let's say in your CLAT examination, these would be the kind of question which can be drafted from this particular news. Okay, and in AILET examination, one-liners can always come. Okay. So let's look at the next news. Centre gives note to defense proposal worth 1.44 lakh crores. So because we have just discussed these three institutions in the previous class only, your Defense Acquisition Council and your National Security Council. So we discuss these two institutions, and Defense Acquisition Council is headed by Ministry of Defense. And it is this particular committee or this particular council which has accepted this particular proposal of 1.44 lakh crore rupees. Okay, so this was a proposal of DSC only which has now been accepted. Okay, so that's why just I'm covering this in very short. Moving on to the next important news, Kavach expansion railways floats tender worth over rupees 2200 crores. So recently there has been a lot of railway accidents happening in India, and because of this many civilians have also died. So because of this a solution has been provided, which is the Kavach system. So what exactly is Kavach? So Kavach is your indigenously developed automatic train protection system by Indian Railways aimed at enhancing safety by preventing train collision. So it's basically an automatic system, and whenever, let's say, if two trains come up on a same track, this cover system is going to automatically stop the stream from getting collided. Okay, so this is designated as India's national automatic train protection system. But the problem is, as of now, we have not yet implemented it on a full scale. So now we have started to implement it, and in the first leg, we are going to launch it about 7,000 kilometer of railway track, and later on it would be enhanced to the 28,000 kilometer track in the total rail track of India. Okay, what basic technology it uses? So it is based on your RFID technology. So this is the same technology which we use in our FASTag also. So RFID technology, or radio frequency identification, is the major technology. There are other technology also. What will be the key features? Automatic braking, speed regulation, collision avoidance, and signal overrun prevention. So these are the some benefits of this particular cover system also. Okay. Moving on to the next news, Putin visits Mongolia after brushing aside ICC warrant. So your ICC stands for your International Court, Criminal Court, and this particular criminal court is basically responsible for trying of individuals when the local courts or the courts of the nation to which that particular culprit comes from is not interested in taking action against that particular person. So basically it tries individuals, and it tries individual for crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression. So these are the basic crimes on which this particular court enjoys jurisdiction. So against Putin also there have been certain arrest warrant have been issued. Arrest warrant has been issued against Vladimir Putin. And if you are a member of the Rome Statute, which is basically the statute under which this particular ICC has been created. So if you are a signatory of Rome Statute, as a member of this particular ICC, it is your responsibility to send this particular person to ICC for proper prosecution. And now, although Russia is not a member, which means Vladimir Putin or Russian authorities are not responsible to send Vladimir Putin to ICC. But your country of Mongolia, it is a member of ICC, and it is his responsibility to send Vladimir Putin to ICC to get proper justice for his crime. But now the problem with international law is that there is no enforcement mechanism. What is the solution, or what is the remedy in this particular case if Mongolia does not send it? Because it becomes totally a voluntary action, and if Mongolia does not act against Putin, no one can do anything about it. Okay, some of the more important non-members are, so remember this, India is a non-member of this ICC. Your US, Russia, China, Israel is also a non-signatory of this particular Rome Statute. Because of this, ICC does not have any jurisdiction over people from these particular countries. Now, where is the headquarters? So the headquarters is in Hague, Netherlands. It started functioning from 1st July 2002, and this particular date is also important because the ICC jurisdiction runs prospectively, which basically means that only incidents which took place after 1st July of 2002, only on those incidents your ICC is going to have jurisdiction. Okay. So where else the country, or where else this ICC has jurisdiction? So it has jurisdiction over in that particular country where offense is committed, or the perpetrator country is a member of ICC. There also it is going to have jurisdiction, and moreover only for offenses which have taken place after 1st July 2002 this is going to take place, and decisions are binding on member states. So again, its decision is binding on Mongolia, but because there is lack of any enforcement mechanism, Mongolia cannot do anything in this particular case. Okay. Moving on to the next news. So now we are looking at important news from Indian Express. So now in the Indian Express, it has been reported that Center has constituted the 23rd Law Commission for the next 3 years. As of now, you might see that some websites are reporting that Raju Raj Awasthi, RR Awasthi, is going to be the next chairman of this 23rd Law Commission, but that is not true. He was the chairman of 22nd Law Commission, and as of now, we have not yet decided who are going to be the chairman and member of this 23rd Law Panel. Okay. So now let's look at the basics. Now let's look at the basics of this particular Law Commission. So it is basically a President of India which constitutes the Law Commission of India, and usually it is provided with a tenure of 3 years. Okay, so basically the Law Commission of India, this 23rd Law Commission is going to work for the next 3 years. What kind of body it is? So it's a non-statutory body. So it has not been created under a statute. It is basically created by a notification of Ministry of Law and Justice. So your Ministry of Law basically notifies this particular body, and it starts to function as a non-statutory body for a 3-year term. Now, what major role does this Law Commission has? So it's basically an advisory body to the Ministry of Law. So Ministry of Law is going to give certain topics to this particular Law Commission, and this Law Commission has to give its advice to the Ministry of Law regarding those particular issues of law. Okay, what is the composition? So there would be a full-time chairperson and 4 full-time members, including member secretary. Secretary of Department of Legal Affairs and the Secretary of Legislative Department will be its ex officio members. What is the eligibility? So the chairperson members are supposed to be serving or retired judges of the Supreme Court or High Court. And what is the term? The term is 3 years. So we have done this earlier also. Okay, moving on to the next news. So there are still points regarding this Law Commission only. So the reports of the Law Commission are led in Parliament from time to time. So whatever reports are prepared by Law Commission, they are also put up in the Parliament, and Parliament discusses this report, and if it feels like that the Law Commission has a very good suggestion, it can bring up a new law also. For example, your 22nd Law Commission also discussed or prepared a report on UCC also. So if the Parliament wants to discuss the UCC, it can discuss the 22nd Law Commission report also. Okay, what is the history? So this part is also important. So the first pre-independent Law Commission, the first Law Commission was created in 1834, and it was chaired by Lord Macaulay. So one question you can answer in the comment box is, this particular first Law Commission was created under which particular Act of Britain? So under which particular act of British Parliament your first Law Commission was constituted, and it was chaired by Lord Macaulay. And after independence also we started to create your Law Commission. So do not think that we have been numbering this commission from the year 1834. So this 23rd Law Commission is only the 23rd Law Commission after independence. So the first Law Commission of independent India was created just after independence in the year 1955, and was headed by then Attorney General MC Cyril Ward. So MC Cyril Ward was the chairman of the first Law Commission after independence. Since independence, there have been 22 Law Commissions. This is the 23rd Law Commission, and the 22nd Law Commission was chaired by Rituraj Awasthi. Okay, and as of now, we are not aware who is going to be the chairman and members of the 23rd Law Commission. Okay, moving on to the last news. So in the Indian Express, it has been reported that 0 FIRs filed in local language must have translated copy also. So Ministry of Home Affairs has advised all your union territories, and this particular direction is also be taken by the states also. And the advice is that if a particular police station is filing a 0 FIR, I'm going to make you understand this 0 FIR also. So if a particular police station has filed a particular 0 FIR, then let's say if this particular 0 FIR was filed in the local language, let's say in Bengal, it was filed in Bengali, and however this particular FIR relates to a particular issue, let's say in the state of Bihar. Let's say the 0 FIR which was filed was for a crime which took place in Bihar, but it was filed in the state of Bengal, state of West Bengal. So let's say this particular 0 FIR was filed in the local language Bengali. So what this particular MHA circular is saying, that this particular 0 FIR which has been filed in Bengali has to be translated into English also. Not into Hindi or other language, but it has to be translated into English also. And both the copies, the original copy as well as the English translated version, is to be forwarded to the concerned state also. Okay, so this is the new update regarding 0 FIR. Now what exactly is 0 FIR? So 0 FIR was recommended by Justice Verma Committee in the year 2013, and this particular 0 FIR has now been incorporated as a provision in your Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. So what exactly is 0 FIR? So 0 FIR basically means an FIR which can be filed in any police station in India, and there is no requirement of it to be filed in the concerned police station where the crime took place. So earlier, why this particular FIR is called as 0 FIR? Because earlier under the CRPC, you could have filed your particular FIR only in that particular police station and in whose territorial jurisdiction that particular crime took place. So let's say if there are two areas, let's say area A and area B. let's say crime took place here, somewhere in the territory of this particular A. Let's say the police station here is X, the police station here is Y. So if you have to file an FIR for this particular crime which took place in this particular area, which is in the territorial jurisdiction of police station X, you have to go to police station X only. But now, after this coming of zero FIR, you can file your complaint in police station X, you can go and file your police station in Y, or you can go and file a police station, your complaint or FIR in police station Z also, which is very far off, but it's a police station in India. That is the only requirement. So this is now a new facility which has been provided under the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita also. Okay. Okay, students, so these were the important news from today's Hindu newspaper and the Indian Express. So these were the news headlines for today. I hope to see you in the next class with a new set of news headlines. That's it from my side from today. Thank you and have a very nice day.